Good day to you, and welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Katuk. In the new season, we begin new ideas with old ideas and take a look at how we've been influenced and how we are influenced. I think about a musician when I was younger. I was probably a teenager, and I heard a comment from a musician who was classically trained playing rock and roll, heavy metal type stuff. And he made a comment that he doesn't listen to new artists because he doesn't want to be influenced by them. Does he realize he's not being influenced by himself the way that he stated? I only want to influence myself, and I only want to do what I think of. Does he realize he's being then influenced by all of the music that he heard up to that point? Doesn't have the ability to grow beyond by other influences because he refused to continue to listen to new artists of any kind. That's always resonated with me because I believe I'm continuing to be influenced. I believe I was influenced by things when I was young, and I think about what influences me today. What influences you? What makes you want to do more or better, if you will? Don't get caught up in the terminology. If you have a distaste for the terminology I'm using, the things I'm saying, the way I'm saying it, like to better yourself, to get to know your higher self, to expand your spiritual life, to expand your mind. For some people, maybe they want to be influenced by somebody who's financially smart. Maybe someone else wants to be influenced by someone who's gotten to know their higher self and how they've done that. Some people may be influenced by this particular podcast or other podcasts. People who are sharing their experience with the things that they've done, and the things that they do, and how they move forward, and how they've been inspired. I get inspired by people who've gotten to know their higher self, and I want to know how to get to know my higher self. So in other words, get to know the spiritual side of myself, which for me has to do with physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and something more. And that something more is my connection. Sometimes my connection to people, sometimes my connection to the Creator, to Mother Earth. That connection could mean different things at different times. So spirituality brings all of it together for someone like me. And I want to be influenced by the people who I don't agree with, who live a lifestyle of arrogance and pomp. The reason I want to be influenced by them is because I don't want to be like them. Saw an article recently where someone was talking about an NBA player receiving an MVP award for the finals and how he isn't good for the game because he's not arrogant. He's humble. Basketball isn't the end-all, be-all. It's just a game he's able to play. You see, I think that's good for mankind. Whether it's good for professional basketball or not, I don't know. I think to see people in a position that are really good at what they do, and the whole world can look at them and say, they're really good at what they do. And they can say thank you and move through it and not get caught up in that egotism of, look at me and yeah, I'm the best. I really appreciate that. I wonder what influenced him. I think about this because I want to be influenced to be able to be as good as I can be at whatever it is I do. To be able, as good as I can be. That means to be able to maybe keep up with other people around me, not fall too far behind their ability, or maybe even exceed some of the ability of the people around me. Whatever that means, I want to do the very best I can. And then when I get a compliment, to be able to say thank you and not be arrogant about that. Not think, oh, look at me, I'm something special, because I'm good at this. To find that balance in life. The people who have influenced me up to this point will sometimes say things very point blank, and sometimes they'll just repeat things over and over and over. I remember one mentor I had, he returned to the spirit world in June of 2007. His name was Lee. And Lee used to repeat himself. Now, Lee was in his 90s when he passed, and early to mid-90s. And as he repeated himself, I would tell people, I don't know if he's doing it because of the fact that he's an elder and he's saying the same thing and doesn't realize he said it before, or if each time I'm saying it, he's saying it so that I hear it again, because I need to absorb what he has to say. Being influenced by the mentors that I have had up to this point in my life, I appreciate very much. Being influenced by the new people coming into this world. The youngest, the wee ones that walk. The wee ones that don't talk yet. And then those that are beginning their education, and those that are furthering their education into junior high and high school. They should all be able to influence me in a positive manner if I can hear what they have to say. I was speaking with someone who heard what I had to say one time. I spoke with him yesterday, and he said something about when I was referring to a woman in ceremony. And she said, listen. 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 She repeated this numerous times and then went silent. What can we learn within the silence? Are we influenced by the silence? Are we influenced by the prayer and meditation? By the yoga? Those are things that influence me. Those are things that inspire me. So sometimes it's the ability of taking the action myself that will influence me as much or more than anyone else on that given day or at that given moment. I try to surround myself today by people, situations, activities that influence me to get to know my higher self, that take me up to that spiritual plane that I look forward to being at. I can only ascend to that spiritual plane. I will not find it. Not in human form. So I can always strive to do more or to do better or to do something different. I can strive to make things different. moving through this podcast, as I continue to talk on different episodes in the same vein, sometimes using different terminology, maybe saying the same thing. Recently I spoke about the idea of some people I know doing Vision Quest and reflecting on people that have done it this year and what it means to them and how they get to know their higher self. And when they go on that quest, they do Hombelechape. And they sit there quietly with them, nature, the creator. They appear to be alone, in human form anyway. They get to know their higher self. They are influenced by their experiences up to this point. People come to mind that have influenced them, maybe positively, maybe not so positively. And then, when we bring them down, we do that purification ceremony to bring them back in so they can walk through society once again in a fashion similar to what they once did. They will be influenced by that vision quest. They will be influenced by what they were doing when they were crying for a vision. Are you influenced by tears? Your own? Others? Are you afraid to shed tears? Do you recognize fear today? Can you see it differently? Many, many questions we ask. They're only for ourselves to answer. When working with people the way that I have, as a mentor, for lack of a better term, I will sometimes, so that they will challenge themselves, I will take the opposite side that they have. Whatever their question, whatever direction they're looking, I'll take the opposite side and I will look 180 degrees the other direction and ask them to take a peek. Let them know that there's another side to see, because then they can make a balanced decision. Not that I may agree 100% with the direction they're looking. If I can get them to look the opposite direction to see another side of it, they may make a less biased decision. And that can impact us, that can influence us by not making a biased decision. So sometimes, yes, I'll just agree with people in atonement, and we can be one. And it's not always the best thing for that influence. What if someone took an opposing view of yours and you took a glance and looked the other direction, and then you were influenced by your own thoughts? You were influenced by your own experience rather than being influenced by someone else's. There are many great things that you will accomplish by realizing that being influenced is a good thing. When we're influenced by ourselves, when we're influenced by others, when we're influenced by the generation that came before us, the mentors we've had, the spiritual advisors, all of those people, or when we realize how we are influenced by the generation that will come after us, and those wee ones that walk the earth, and the innocence that they carry, and the unconditional love because they know no other. How much do we have to learn from Mitaku Oyase? All of my relations. I can learn from the winged ones, the ones that crawl, the ones that swim, the four-legged, the two-legged. I can learn from all of them. I can be influenced. I can move in a good way today. Today, I choose to be influenced by things that are healthy for me. I will discard those things that will not allow me to see my higher self or get to know my higher self in a better way. I will be influenced by my own decisions. I will be influenced by others. And hopefully I will be influenced by love, dignity, respect. All of those things. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Doksha, okay.